Hi. As I'm recording this right now, Stranger Things is going to end tonight. And I'm feeling bittersweet about it because Stranger Things is I'd say, important part of my childhood. Like a lot of us, like we grew up on it, right? This shit's been airing for like 10 years. I'm about to be 24. So it's essentially been airing like my whole like young adult teen era. So I have a lot of strong feelings about it. I associated a lot with that period of time where I first started to become like a nerd. Like that's around the time like I had just started watching things like Game of Thrones. I started getting into anime. That was like that peak era where I was like madly obsessed. I don't know if y'all remember like the CW superhero shows, like Arrow, Flash, like Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. Like that was my peak like obsession into that type of stuff. I mean, I think that all fell within like the same year. That would have been what, like 2015? Yeah, man, 2014. That's like around the time that all kind of just hit me and I was like, "Oh, so I'm a nerd. That's real." So I do associate it with a very fun and a very like pivotal part of my journey as like a creative person and just like person who watches stuff. So I have a lot of love for the program. And I think one thing that I see a lot right now in like on the internet is a lot of negativity towards Stranger Things, right? And a lot of people talk about how the writing has crashed and how it's not as good as it was season one. And I'm here to say, yeah, yeah, damn, that's true, isn't it? But I'm here to talk about like I don't know about it a little differently. It's like, man, like, yes, but you gotta think about the whole context of the situation. Here's why I give Stranger Things a bit more grace than I might give other things that are not good anymore. Because you have the Duffer Brothers who made this show, and they got a bag thrown at them for making something that was critically acclaimed. So mind you, and these boys, they're grinding, they're writing, they're directing, they're making things. Some of it's ass, some of it is not well received. And you finally make something that's straight up your magnum opus, your baby girl. Like you make something perfect, perfection. And then you get $1 billion thrown at you to make it again and again and again and to keep making it until that fucking money machine is like more expensive to run than it is able to print. Boy, I'd kill myself. I'm sorry. That's really dramatic. I would be really sad if that was the case for me personally. Cause that's like a hellish fate, man. Like that is like a hellish fate. And of course hellish fate is very dramatic because these men are literally like millionaires now. They're set for life. Their kids are set for life off this program. There's worse fates than having to be a millionaire who's responsible for an amazing piece of art that's gonna go well remembered in history. But in terms of like creative integrity, that's gotta suck. Like, that's gotta really suck. Because the Duffers, they only wanted Stranger Things to be an anthology. They wanted only one season and then to do some new shit. But they were pretty much stripped of the will to create the thing their heart yearned for due to the sick disease that is capitalism in a bag getting thrown at you. So I can understand that that is a really difficult position to be in. And I can understand why you would take the money and I can totally understand that despite that, the quality of the show is not that bad. Like, I'm here to tell y'all are too hard on Stranger Things because Stranger Things season one and Stranger Things after season one are two different types of show. Boy, they exist in like two different worlds. Like, season one is like, it's your prestige TV, right? It's your Wire, it's your Game of Thrones season one. It's your I don't know, like top. It's just a top show. Severance, Succession. I'm trying to name top shows that I like, but you know the writing. Breaking Bad. Did I say Breaking Bad? Better Call Saul. Okay, these are pieces of art that are like unclockably perfection. Sopranos. These are things that are just lovely. And to compare Stranger Things to those things, season one is valid because it is in that lane, it is in that ballpark. It can dance amongst them. But comparing everything after that, man, that's not right. That's just not right because it exists for different reasons. It has its whole different, they are not the same. And that's okay because I don't know, for me personally, like I said, when it comes to creative integrity, I personally prefer my art to be made by people who I do think have a love for what they're making. There's a genre they're passionate about. And unlike, say, like Dave and Dan towards the end of Game of Thrones, I do think the Duffers care about Stranger Things. I think they're really trying to make something good. I don't think they were trying to like give up in the end. I just think writing is really hard. And they wrote their magnum opus with the intent of it being one season, and y'all are trying to drag its corpse down for fucking 5 more seasons. Of course, it's gonna be, it's gonna be rough, okay? It's not gonna be easy to do such a thing. So keep that in mind, right? And I think you're thinking about like seasons 1 through 4 as these 4 separate entities. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. I think season 1 is, we know she's peak. Season 2, I think she's very slow. Some people like season 2. I think season 2 is boring. And that's another thing about Stranger Things I find so interesting is you talk to 10 different people and you ask them what their favorite season, what do they like about Stranger Things. They're all going to give you a different answer, right? Because like I know my sister really likes season 2. I fell asleep watching season 2, just being ever so real. But I can understand why some people might really like it because I do think it, well, I'm not quite sure. Well, Will's stuff was cool. That was cool. Yeah. I like season 3, okay? And I know a lot of people do not like season 3 because season 3 is a hot mess. But let me tell you something about season 3 of Stranger Things. Season 3 of Stranger Things is cursed because of when it exists. Season 3 of Stranger Things is yearning to be a 2010 24 episode season. It's begging to air alongside Lost. It's begging to air alongside 24. It's begging to air like with Twin Peaks in them. Like it does not want to be a Netflix 10 episode season because let me tell you something about these 10 episode seasons. These 10 episode seasons have fucked television. 10 episode seasons have absolutely cooked TV because you're telling me why does everything have to be so like no breathing room? Everything has to be cinematic. Everything has to be a movie now. You can't just have characters meandering around the mall, yapping. Mind you, if you like the characters, you want to see them meander around the mall yapping. Like that is a sign you did a good job as a writer if your characters hold up talking about nothing for like 30 minutes. That's how you know you actually did something impactful and made characters people care about. And by season 3, I cared about the kids. Like I actually was interested in seeing them, date and the drama and the mess, like I told you, I was bred on CW shows. So of course my palette is a little bit more, trashy than some other folks' palette, but it is what it is because ultimately art is subjective and all art is kind of just going to be consumed how it's consumed. And, you can do your best to make something unclockable and flawless and really clean and have all the artistic integrity in the world and well written. And you can try to do it quickly. And you can try to do it on a budget. And you can try to do this, and that. And sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, writing is hard. So I'm not particularly mourning Stranger Things in the same way I think a lot of people on the internet do. And again, they're so real for that because Stranger Things season 1, it's almost like a catfish. She's kind of a catfish because you get season 1, which is this beautifully written, like immersive. Let me tell you something about immersion. So immersive. That dialogue, you believe everything everyone's saying. You understand their perspective. This world's not too muddied with too much magic and backstory and lore and contradictory like plot twists. It's just these cool characters in this weird world. We don't know too much yet, which is good because the less we know, the better when it comes to some of these grand fantasy concepts. Because once you start getting into the weeds, it becomes a lot less cool. Although I would argue, I think what they're doing with the 2 worlds, this is spoilers for Stranger Things, obviously. Like the 2 worlds and the bridge, that's tight. That's cool. I really enjoy that. But there's this different feeling to there being no Vecna, there being no explanation, just 11, this girl with these powers made this hole to this world, thinking that the worst beast you had was the Mind Flayer. When you add all these other elements, I do think it messes up the story. It muddies it up quite a bit, and it prevents it from being that same caliber. For me, my biggest problems with these new seasons probably are just like the characters. Their emotions are so inconsistent. Their characterization is so weird. Like, you look at my boy Hopper. Hopper had such a clean arc in season 1 through 2. This maturity arc, this, I'm going to be a better man. I'm going to forgive myself for the death of my first daughter. I'm going to be a real father to this girl. I'm not going to be overprotective. I'm not going to self-harm. I'm going to respect her. I'm going to respect myself. I'm going to love myself. Hopper's arc in season 1 through 2 is so clean. And you significantly sabotaged it from 3 on. And I know I say like 3, but Hopper is funny in season 3. But that's not my Hopper. Hopper is talking about, get off my daughter, Mike. Get off my lawn. Looking like he is not my boy from season 1. Period. Because season 1 Hopper, he is such a, he not season 1, but season 1 through 2, his arc is there. It is there. It is present. It is perfect. And you have to really like, not subvert, but you have to really drag him through the mud and take him backwards just for him to be able to continue existing as a character that's funny and fun. Although I don't think that, but I'm just saying, like, because you probably could have written him in a way where he was able to evolve and still be entertaining, but for him to serve the purpose they wanted him to here on, they have to kind of shoot him in the foot. Like, Hopper is now fucking suicidal again. He's fucking doesn't give a fuck about anything. He's bent. He doesn't really like, he's just too much on 11. He doesn't give her room to breathe. Like, it's just such a shame. It really is. But he's still a decent character. He's definitely one of the funner characters on the show. Very likable character. But his arc is just doesn't exist. And then you're talking about character reactions. I cannot stand the Dustin this season, boy. What does Dustin got going on, man? Dustin, it's crazy. I started this video like, I'm not here to hate on Stranger Things, and I accidentally started hating on Stranger Things. But no, we're gonna get to this. I just want to get this off my chest, okay? Because my baby Dustin, he's such a strong character. He's such a sweetheart. And this season with his angst over this man, Eddie, I'm not trying to say he can't mourn for Eddie. I can't say him getting a mullet in honor of Eddie is not beautiful. I can't say that he's not allowed to have feelings that someone who he connected to so deeply died. We met this man in season 4. We don't know Eddie. I'm sorry. I don't care about Eddie. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how this will come off, but I really don't give a fuck about Eddie. I don't care that he died. He could have died. He could die again. He was introduced in season 4, in my opinion, to die. He just read, I'm going to be introduced and I'm going to die by the end of the season. Like, I could just read that off him from the moment I met him. So I had no stakes in him. I had no stakes. Don't get me wrong. Eddie was fine shit. So, RIP in that regard. But when it comes to, like, the characterization, I'm not really, I don't care to not see him on my TV beyond that part. Like, I really could care less that he's no longer on my television, because sucks to suck, I suppose, Dying is really unfortunate. And you have Dustin here being cruel to Steve, who's probably one of the most consistent, still strong, fun, lovely characters in the show. And you have him being cruel to my boy Steve because of Eddie. And then you have Steve saying, like, well, Eddie wouldn't have died if he wasn't a bitch. Like, why would he say that? Like, I know emotions were high, but why would he say that? Why would you have him say that? And then Dustin's gonna be like, ugh, and then they're gonna forgive each other. Like, I don't know. And if you want to talk about characters who should have been crashing out this season, my boy Nancy and my boy Mike, why are they cool that their mom just got mollywopped by Vecna? Their mother and sister just got stomped upon. Their mother and sister just got dragged. And you're telling me that they're just like, damn, that's mom. No. Fuck. Like, there's not even like a little bit of like emotion, a little bit of like feelings of anguish within them. Their hearts don't bleed for their mother and sister. They just are not stressed enough. They are probably the only characters who should be stressed. And I get it, you don't want to have Nancy doing too much, right? Because I know Nancy's arc right now is her and Jonathan got going on. And that little unproposal scene was cute. That was very well acted, and I think it could have been iconic in another life. In another life where Stranger Things was still considered prestige TV, that unproposal scene could have been iconic. But I fear that I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Like, I feel like Nancy, I don't understand how she feels about things. I don't understand. I bet my boy Jonathan don't understand either. Like, I don't understand why Nancy feels the way she does about things. I don't know why she acts the way she acts about things. I don't get a strong sense of, like, I don't know. Her character just doesn't feel very moved. Like, she was a journalist for like 5 seconds, and then they got rid of that, and that didn't really get the blow off. I feel like it should have. I don't know, man. Like, they just throw anything at the wall, and it's straight. It's cool. It's good. It's fun. And when you talk about it in terms of it being a fantasy product, it is a very, very strong fantasy product. Like, it has a really good heart to it. It has a really good world. It is cool. It's cool as shit. there really is nothing as cool as Stranger Things, and there might not be anything as cool as Stranger Things for a while. Maybe Severance, but I think Stranger Things it's really a fantastic world and story, and the things that are wrong with it are a shame, but the things that are right with it, I mean, it's gonna go down well. And if you're talking about how I think it's gonna end, right? I don't know. I'm gonna hopefully post this before the episode airs, but it's today's New Year's Eve, so we'll see. It's probably gonna be like an hour before it airs that I post this, but I do think the ending will be satisfying. I'm gonna bet my money on that, and if I'm wrong, I will laugh at me. But I do think the ending will be satisfying because I think ultimately they are building to some cool stuff, and there's so much. Here's what I fear, but I could be wrong. There is a lot that has been left on the table that has not been explained. There's a lot of weird things going on, a lot of contradictions. I don't know what's going on with, like, Henry and the Upside Down and the his relationship to the other planet and the monsters there, and if he actually is even that evil, or if it's just the circumstances. What's going to happen with the kids? What's going to happen with our main characters? Is 11 going to have, herself? And about that briefly, I think the 11 storyline of Callie wanting 11 to sacrifice herself makes sense. I actually don't think it's a bad storyline. I do think this is one of those TV tropes of this could have been resolved with a conversation, because I don't think it would have been resolved with a conversation, because I think Callie has a really good point about something bigger than them. But I think a scene of her like just being straightforward and telling everyone this is what has to happen, I know why she wouldn't trust them, but like I think that could have been a lot more interesting. Or 11 exposing it. Like I just don't know why 11 is so secretive, because I just think it makes her really unlikable and uninteresting. It just makes her suck. Like, she should tell Hopper and Mike immediately. I wish I felt like 11 she has a strong relationship with Hop, but I just wish 11, Mike, I wish, like, you could feel those, like, subunits of characters who are supposed to, like, really be locked in. I wish they just were more effortlessly connected. I wish there was more of a sense of trust between them, because I think that would make us as an audience be more, like, invested in their stories or whatever. But I was yapping about something. The ending. Okay, like I said, this book 11, say goodbye, hallelujah, sayonara. Like, sayonara. Will 11 say goodbye to us on this last episode? I don't know. I've been watching a bit of the press tours. I can't really gauge too much when they respond to, like, how will it end? You like the ending? Like, I don't know. It's definitely better than the Game of Thrones actors being like, best season ever, knowing that was going to be horrible. I don't think it's like that. Hopefully not. I think that it's going to be... I think it's going to end good, though. I'm putting my money out there. It's going to have a solid ending that I think will not wrap up everything, because they've left too many plot holes and loose ends, and it is getting a little bit messy. But I think it will be satisfying, and I think... I'd like to hope that the characters at least get a little bit of a resolution and a payoff that's justified after 10 years of following them. 10 years, 5 seasons, mind you. Has it been long? No, has it been longer than 10 years? No, it's been 10 years. Wow. Anyways, Stranger Things, boy. A great piece of art, a classic, a favorite of mine. I don't know how it'll be remembered in history. I think it will be remembered fondly, actually. I think a lot of shows get a bad rap when they first end. I'm thinking, i.e., like a Lost or something, for like this lost its plot. Lost. But it ultimately is remembered for its highs and for being a trendsetter in the nerd genre. If the nerd genre is a genre, the unique sci-fi, fun, weird stories that we love. It's good to see them pop off and do something interesting and leave a lasting impact on the culture for whatever it's worth. And whatever, man. I hope it's good. But, let's hedge your bets. But I hope it's good. And perhaps I'll come back upon here and look into my cellular device and tell you how I feel about it after I've viewed the episode. Anyways, ciao. My name was Amara, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.